we go. Game has started. Do you want to go ahead and do these little player introductions?
Sure, man. We got our purple Terran over on the right-hand side of the map. Sarens, I know he's a pretty good Terran. I am not super familiar with him, but I know he's been around for a while, and he has like a really high TLPD, right? His
I
elo
think
is...
so he must play in a lot of the European Cups like frequently. The one thing I remember him actually like debuting was the IEM Global Challenge last year. That Idra and Maro were in the finals for that one, but Sarens, I was like, who is this guy? He's actually winning games. I've never heard of him, but
and then
pretty impressive.
Over in the bottom left-hand corner, we are going to have TSL's Killer. Oh, God. He is a fearsome Protoss player from the GSL, and it's going to be on Xel'Naga Fortress, a map that is no stranger to the Koreans. They are all very familiar with this map and Belshire Beach. A lot of North American players haven't really played on it that much. All the tournaments use different maps.
It's
so annoying.
It is. I'm sure it's annoying.
I know why it is, but
yeah,
it's just like...
It's variety is the spice of life. Like, viewers get bored of Metal and Xel'Naga Caverns every single game.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think there should be a big map pool with a lot of variety, but I think it should be the same across the board, and I think the changes should be the same across the board. It should be based on the merit of the maps, not on the decisions of the higher-ups that run the tournaments.
Right.
You know?
Well, we've got Xel'Naga Fortress in here just because it's generally considered to be pretty balanced. It's a 3-player map, so really there's not a lot of like positional imbalance like you sometimes have. There's no like close flying positions on this map compared to cross positions. So I kind of like the 3-player balance that we got going on here on Xel'Naga Fortress. Otherwise, I really don't know much about it because, like you said, not a lot of North American tournaments run this. So Sarens being European, Killer being Korean, hopefully it won't matter too much. But Killer already doing the same sort of dance that we saw Kiwikaki do in that last series, trying to just be annoying as possible with these probes. And, of course, they can do that because shields regenerate so fast in StarCraft 2.
Yeah. And we're going to have a super quick command center out of Sarens here. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the last series, is that you can actually drop the command center much, much earlier if you only build one supply depot. So he's going to get that command center down super fast. We're at the 3-minute, 15-second mark when he put that down. And this Marine should be able to deny, but he's going to get in there and he's going to see that. Oh! He actually misses it, and he might lose the probe.
Oh my goodness.
Getting that probe would have been huge because... Well, just the fact that it wasn't detected is actually a pretty big deal.
Would your Marine be on the low ground, though, if you weren't expanding that fast?
Sure.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you might even send your Marine to the Xel'Naga before the Stalker comes out, to be honest.
Okay.
But it is kind of a tell, but until he actually sees... You can, like, infer what someone is doing just based on, like, the position of their units and stuff, but until you actually see what they're doing, there's so many, like, feigns and fakes.
Yeah, you could totally guess wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Sarens actually just backing off. He doesn't want to lose his SCV for no reason. Decent decision there. Bunker already up.
You know, like, sometimes people will put a bunker down ramp in front of their expand and then, like, 1-1-1
just to
all
screw with
in
you
or something. Yeah.
Give you false impressions. So you're definitely right. He will need to get in there and see that command center.
I think he will, though.
And will he get it here, though, with the single Zealot Stalker, or will he just see this bunker and be like, I'm not even going to try?
There it is.
Oh, wow, he is definitely dive
Yeah,
bombing.
he needed to see that, 100%.
Let's make sure. Yep. Definitely saw that time.
Now he knows that it's coming. How many Raxes do we have as a follow-up here? So 1 Rax gasless expand into 4 Rax here, so he's going to stay.
Just 3. That was a refinery.
Oh, that's
my
a
bad.
refinery?
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm
it happens all the time. Their builds look exactly the same up to a certain point.
And he had them, like, positioned all. So anyway, it's going to be gasless expand into 3 Rax tech, not into 4 Rax gasless. And this build is, I would say, the most standard, generic, all-around solid build that Terran has right now. Pretty much everybody does it, and it's good.
It's playing more toward like a mid game, right? I mean, not so much a late macro game. If he was like triple expanding or something like that, it'd be a little bit goofy since Protoss are so strong early game anyway. But yeah,
I think gasless. Well, the difference is if you do it gasless and you go into 4 Racks and you stay without gas for a while, you're gonna get a ton of Marines, and your bio ball is gonna be much bigger, but you're gonna suffer on tech and you're gonna suffer a little bit on upgrades. If you do the 3 Racks, take your 2 gases much earlier, you're going to have less Marines, less bio ball, but you're going to get way quicker medevacs and you're going to get quicker upgrades. So it's like, it's a little bit of a trade-off. Depends on what you want to do. Generally, when you open with the gasless, you want to hit some kind of a timing push with stim and try and trade it as natural and do a lot of damage.
I gotcha. So Killer over on the other hand going 3-gate Robo with an expand. Also very, very standard stuff out of him. No surprise tech just yet. Actually, is that a second? No, just still the first Robo. Okay. Just making sure he wasn't messing with me here. 2 more gas coming at the natural. Doing a little bit of a dance here with his Zealots and Stalkers. Not really going to be able to get in there. There's just way too many units for him to even actually want to hang around here for much longer. Sarens might actually take advantage of this already. He's got concussive shells. He noticed that Zealot didn't even try to run away.
Oh.
If he can snag one shot on the Stalker, he can pick it off, but it looks like they are going to be quick enough to escape there. And
I wonder
the
why.
Zelnaga Tower is just gone.
Yeah, it is on a timer in this version, so it does disappear after a while, which I actually really like. I feel like Zelnaga towers just give way too much vision on certain maps over key points.
Yeah,
And
some maps have 4 Zelnaga towers.
Yeah.
You can see the whole everything all the time.
I don't understand that at all. It doesn't make sense. I don't think that there's a reason that you should know at all times when and where things are coming from. And also, you know, I think it's a little bit easier maybe for Zerg and Terran. And I am not a Protoss fan, but I think it's tough for them to hold the Zelnagas because the units that they can hold the Zelnagas with, Stalkers are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Zealots are also pretty expensive. Once Concussive Shell comes out, you have to be pretty careful about where you put your Stalkers.
Yeah,
And
you're pretty much gonna lose it.
Yeah,
if a Marauder shows up. Yeah,
exactly. And then Marines and Zerglings are just great for holding the Zelnagas. They're quick. You have stim. They're expendable.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult for Protoss to hold on to those. But then again, they have observers, so that kind of helps out a little bit.
Yeah, he's Killer himself actually has 2 observers floating around, but Sarens with a very nice pickoff. You just see that little bit of a glimmer.
That's
and
so important.
Drop a scan, easy observer pickoff.
So important.
First Colossus and extended thermal lances both being researched now for Killer. Doesn't I thought Sarens was going to continue in here. I was going to say they aren't going to be finished in time for this big hit at the expansion, but Sarens being a little bit more careful. He doesn't want to throw his whole army in blind, so he's going to send 1 Marine to just hang out outside the natural and another one into that third to make sure that his opponent Killer isn't just taking mass bases all over the place. So should be pretty happy with what he sees so far. Going to set him on patrol just so he can yell out after he gets shot in the face by a Stalker. And it looks
he's like patrolling a little 5-foot space, just like
his legs are gonna get tired. He should conserve his energy. I would not want to be doing that if I was a Marine on a hostile planet, but
with a 30-pound combat shield and like a giant Gauss rifle.
That's all right. If stim packs finish, he'll be okay. He can always resort to stimming up and getting a little bit of a boost. But
I don't know, man. Drugs are bad.
he's posturing like he wants to take another expansion. Yeah, finally we do see that SCV. He was just guarding that ramp, like, please don't go down my ramp. Sending an SCV now, and there's the silhouette for the third base. Back over on Killer's side of things, he's getting a Twilight Council and 3 more gateways. Going to be able to support those Colossi with tons and tons of Tier 1 units. Don't know if he has plans for another expansions anytime soon, though.
That would be kind of like a funny spoof video, don't you think? Like a what is it? Intervention with Marines and Marauders.
Oh yeah, you got to put down the stim, man.
Based around stim.
Yeah, you're ruining the lives of all the SCVs back at the main base.
You know, I've heard rumors that throughout the Terran ranks, stimming is a serious problem.
Yeah, those medevac pilots really, really look down on it because it's more work for them. You know, obviously they're gonna complain.
They have stim packs on their fingers.
Oh yeah, they're just healing stim packs instead of damaging ones. That's
kind of weird, actually. That is kind of weird. I never understood. So medics apparently just like gave up being medics.
They all became pilots.
And they all became pilots because women have such affinity for flying that.
Yeah, banshees and medevacs. That's all you see, man. It's so sexist, that Terran army. But anyway, it looks like a few pros are definitely going to go down here before Killer is able to actually respond here. Good pick up there by Sarens, only going to lose 1 Marine and about half of his medevac's health, but it's no biggie. He can just always come back later. And now he has the added advantage that Killer never knows when another medevac's going to show up. So he's going to be a little bit paranoid, leave units behind. Blink is nearly done here, and it looks like we've got a couple of upgrades finished already for Killer. He's already starting that armor upgrade. The whole bulk of his army. Oh, well, he's going for armor 2 very quickly, plus 2 armor upgrades for Protoss. I guess that's good against mass bio.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Interesting that well, we always talk about this. You couple Guardian Shield plus 2 plus 2 for your entire army. Yeah, Marines just
they're like throwing rocks.
And you know what else is a really big deal is Vikings. Vikings have 2 attacks, so the armor doubles up on both attacks. So Colossus all of a sudden become
and Banshees, if they happen to make any Banshees,
Yep.
they do the double attack too.
So
Good
Colossus all of a sudden become these very, very powerful units that are extremely hard to kill.
There's an armory going up there. It is.
How many NG bases does he have? It's just one right now?
Just the one is all I see, and I don't know what
really-
he's upgraded yet. Let's
Really,
take a
really
look.
like Sarens'
One
building
line.
positioning right now, though. All his production facilities are super streamlined. Just look at his base real quick. It's very flowy. I like
They just
that.
come out and go straight down the
Yeah,
ramp.
absolutely. That's really good, and he does have a pretty solid foothold here on the midfield between his natural and his third, but Killer has a really nasty timing push coming right now. He's going to finish weapons, armor. He already finished charge. He now has
Ooh,
Storm
that's-
on the way.
Yeah, he's got Blink too already.
Yikes.
He's pretty much ready to go here with his tier 1
5
forces.
Colossus.
Yeah, all these upgrades are going to hit very soon. Psionic Storm, he doesn't have any Templar in this mix yet, but he can go Archons if he wants to. Mass Storm for all these Vikings, Marines, and Marauders. Everything's looking good here from Killer so far. There's 2 medevacs overhead. I would like to see a lot more, actually, but you do have to obviously make that decision between Vikings and medevacs when you're dealing with this number of Colossus.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many Colossus out right now that I feel like he hasn't really had an opportunity to make any medevacs. He's just been pumping Vikings this whole time. But I feel like Sarens had a huge opportunity to engage Killer out in the middle of the map there. He's almost maxed. And, you know, now, he's picking off a few Colossus, actually. Yes,
Oh,
he did
snag
get
one, yeah.
Maybe lost a few Vikings there. I don't know. I didn't really see. But supply's actually still the same.
Very, very similar. 193 to 163, actually.
So I don't think he lost the Vikings. But here is a huge chance for Sarens to make a push because with this supply lead, this is exactly when you want to hit the Protoss here. And he's got great position with his Vikings. Going to pick off another Colossus, potentially another Killer in huge trouble here. Oh my god.
Huge storms go down on all the bio forces. The Stalkers were actually busy shooting all the MMM, and the Vikings were just free.
Sarens just picked him apart, dude.
He just destroyed him. Look at that,
Picked him
50 supply.
apart.
50 supply advantage. The Templar forced to turn into Archons. A blink forward, not going to matter. They're going to get destroyed. And there are still so many forces here. I'll pull up those health bars. They're kind of low on health, but these medevacs just doing their job, floating overhead. And there you go. GG from Mr. TSL Killer for Game 1 on Xel'Naga Fortress. Sarens, excellent, excellent encounter right there. The Viking positioning, really, was just money because Stalkers could not get underneath them to finish them off. The MMM had a huge concave down here to pick apart the Stalkers while the Vikings just went to town on those, 5 Colossi there? Pretty crazy stuff.